Hey guys, welcome back to Minecraft The Lost Journals. Today we're reading chapter 27, which is titled Gas Tears Are Not Wolf Treats. Starts on page 246 and goes to page 252. If you guys have enjoyed this novel so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more Minecraft The Lost Journals. Without further ado, chapter 27. Allison saw what Max was doing and only hoped he could survive it. Since she knew she couldn't stop him in time, he taunted the gas into attacking him. The portal activated and her friend was gone. Allison ran up to Freya and shook her shoulder, hoping the healing potion had worked enough. Freya opened her eyes. The portal's working. You need to get to Nicholas, though. Allison said simply, and Freya nodded once and sat up. Allison ran back and shot more arrows at the remaining gas, trying to get it to target her and not put on out their precious portal. A fireball passed too close to her, burning her shoulder. Her armor had taken a lot of damage at this point, and she didn't know how much longer it could last. She toppled backward with the impact, letting go one more arrow as she fell. She was sure it would sail wide, but as she landed painfully, she saw it go straight into the gassy bag that was the gas body, and the thing screamed once she was gone. Allison lay panting for a moment, but realized that they weren't free yet. She still had to get Freya and Nicholas through the portal, and then see if Max was all right. She got up and ran to the portal where Freya stood, propping Nicholas on her shoulder, looking around. Bunny Biter, I can't find her, she said. Allison wanted to tell her she would find the wolf herself, and Freya should get Nicholas through the portal, but knew that Bunny Biter would only come to Freya. She took Nicholas's arm and nodded back to the field. Go find her, but don't take too long. We'll wait for you on the other side. Freya hugged her briefly, and Allison winced at the pressure on her burned and bruised body, but returned the hug tightly. Freya turned and ran off, and Allison pulled the nearly unconsciousness enchanter through the portal. After every single thing that he had been through, Max turned out to almost die by drowning after all. He came to under cold water, his lungs burning, but he was grateful that nothing else was on fire. He swam to the surface and struggled toward land, finally collapsing onto warm sand, gasping. Burns covered his body, and he was pretty sure his hair was gone. He could do nothing but lie there, coughing water out of his lungs and being very aware of the sun and his bright sky overhead. After he could breathe comfortably again, he realized the gas had done him a favor by blowing the cursed armor off his body. He was finally free of the accursed pieces and wore only his regular clothes, burned in several places as they were. He could have laughed in relief, but knowing the others were still in the nether was worrying. He didn't know if he should go back through or not. He had no armor, no weapons, nothing with which to help, but going back would answer the question plaguing him. Had they made it past the last gas? Could they move Nicholas? He finally realized he should at least take in his surroundings. He painfully got to his feet and looked around. He had landed near the shoreline of a large body of water, so large that he couldn't see anything on the other side. The portal hung over the water, and he realized the others would have a shock coming home. It also made the problem of going back to help them much harder, but he could build a platform to the portal. It could help keep his mind off things. Despite the cold water, it was very warm here, and the trees looked unfamiliar. He took down a few with some painful punches and built a quick platform in front of the portal, just as he finished giving the platform a path to the shore. Allison and Nicholas collapsed through the portal onto the platform. Max ran to their side and helped them sit up. Nicholas was badly burnt. Allison was injured but conscious. She handed Max his bag. He went rooting through it for more healing potions. He found one and put it to his uncle's lips. Where's Freya? He asked Allison. She wouldn't come. She went looking for Bunny Biter, Allison said, removing her armor with a sigh. Things were quiet when we left, so she'll probably be okay. She winced, as if a thought had occurred to her. Or she was looking for an excuse to stay in the nether and not come back with us. Max shook his head firmly. No, that's just not her. We'll wait here for her, and then if she's not back by tomorrow, we'll get some stuff crafted so we can go back and look for her. Back? Allison asked. For Freya, he said. She nodded for Freya. Max handed over her pack, and she got some mushrooms out of it and ate them, sighing with relief as the food strengthened her. You might want to let your mom know we're okay first, though. She'll never let me go back if we do that, he said, laughing. Do you know which way is home from here? Allison asked. Nothing looked familiar. Nicholas sat up suddenly. Where's Freya? He demanded. He looked around. Where are we? She's still in the nether, and we're home, Max said. He looked around at the unfamiliar landscape and then added, sort of. She's looking for her wolf. She said she would be right back behind us, and I'm not sure. Allison looked around. How close this is to home. Nicholas stood up. This isn't home. There is no body of water this large near our village. He squinted in the afternoon light, looking toward the north. That's desert up there. Desert? There's no desert near home, Max said. How did we travel so far? We didn't go that far in the nether. Distance is different here. I should have remembered, Nicholas said. What is one block there, several blocks here, or the other way around? I don't remember. Boots would know. Anyway, the maps don't coincide. Don't worry, I've written it down, Allison said, holding up her own notebook. The argument ranged from how long to wait for Freya to whether they should set out for home immediately, to the wisdom of trying to find a village where they could get a map to make sure they were going in the right direction. Allison finally said they needed to first build a small shelter for the night and then could decide their next steps tomorrow. She then got very excited when she realized they could easily make real beds in a real shelter. She went out looking for some sheep while Nicholas and Max built their lodging. Suddenly, the purple glow of the portal activating shimmered intensely, and Freya stepped out, holding Bunny Biter in her arms. Everyone was relieved at seeing them both safe, and Allison ran over to hug Freya tightly. I'm so happy you're safe. We were getting so worried. Yeah, what took you so long? Max teased, giving Bunny Biter a pat on her head as the wolf sniffed around their new shelter. Someone, Freya said, glaring at Bunny Biter. Don't you mean some wolf? Allison asked, grinning at her. Freya laughed and then said, Yeah, actually, some wolf decided that gas drops would be tasty, since skeleton drops were tasty. It turns out that wolf stomachs doesn't like gas tears nearly as much as bones. She was behind a rock, horking up everything she'd eaten in the past few days. She tossed her back down on the ground. I looted what I could if you're interested, she said. Just keep it away from the wolf. Allison snatched up the pack before Bunny Biter's questioning nose could find the treats inside. Freya glanced around, frowning. You live here? Where's the village? No, actually, Allison said. We are going to need to find our way home. We didn't know distances were different in the nether and here. Nicholas sighed. I thought my challenge in coming back to the overworld was going to be making amends with my family, rebuilding a treehouse, and reliving a brother-in-law from doing my job. It looks like we have to find home first. You going to make up with Mom and Dad? Max asked. I'm going to try, Nicholas said. I need to make up for a lot of mistakes, and I need to find someone to train me in enchanting. If I'm going to keep doing it, no more self-teaching. He smiled at Allison. I owe Boots that much. And rebuilding a treehouse? Allison said. Do you mean mine? She glanced over at Freya, then said, I mean ours. Freya grinned. It's at least the least I could do, he said before walking over to Allison. And I also wanted to give you this. Nicholas reached into his pack, rummaging around for a moment before pulling out a small, tattered journal. He hesitated before handing it to her. You remind me of your grandma Boots. You're strong enough to tell me when I'm making questionable decisions instead of just going along with it for fear of speaking up. I'm glad you're Max's friend, so, here. What is this? Allison took the journal, flipping it open to the first page. She immediately recognized the neat, almost stern handwriting. It is the journal your grandma Dia used to chronicle our very first adventure together. She was much bolder in those days, young and brash as we were, and I wanted to share that with you. He smiled at Allison, and she started fixedly at the writing. You really are so much like her at that age. I hope you find wisdom in its pages, and you. He turned toward Max. I hope you also learn something from my past mistakes. Like don't use fermented spider eyes? Max asked. Nicholas let out a booming laugh. Among many other things, yes. He looked at the sky where the sun was rapidly sliding toward the horizon. I love enchanting, but I have to learn the right way. When we get back, I'm going to find someone to teach me. Would you like to join me? A large grin split Max's face. Yeah, of course. Nodding, Nicholas said, Wonderful. We'll get started as soon as we get back for now. I think it's best that we all head inside and get some rest. It's going to be a long journey home. Loud snores resounded off the walls as Nicholas slept. The kids stood at the window of their shelter, watching the mobs wander outside. To Max's eyes, they seemed tame compared to the other creatures they'd fought. I did miss Green, Freya said. Thanks for bringing me home. Allison smiled and put her arm around Freya's shoulders. You know, Max said thoughtfully, we could always go back. Take apart the portal, backtrack to Freya's fortress, and rebuild it. There. That might be a faster way to get home. Closer, at least, and who knows who we'll find along the way. No, the other two shouted in unison. That wraps up chapter 27. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you did, hit that like button, and I will see you next time.